Hey guys, welcome back. The fellow Guitargatians that are following along and keeping track, we're now on major chord shapes. These are shapes that'll help you find your closest move when you're playing down the neck. The examples they have in here is play the 1-4-5 progression and switching patterns as you go down. So like pattern 1 is your normal C pattern. Exclude this and pretend you're starting at the second dot there, the red dot. That's C. If you moved up the fretboard, leave off where your third finger was, and C is your next major chord on the third, starting on the third fret. Then you're starting on the fifth fret with this bar. So you bar, and then you have you're going up the neck. So it's just closest movements to find your chords all the way down the neck. C, C, C. Pattern 4 is like a regular whole chord, power chord. And then pattern 5. It's pretty neat. And if you do your 1-4-5 going down the neck, it makes it so that you move less. You're not going, G to G, D, C, or just keeping your power chord structure that you know and are complacent with. It gives you some other options. So we can try the GCD progression, and I'll try to explain it as we go. So G, that would be pattern 3 for the G. C obviously is pattern 1, which I just showed you, and then the D is the pattern 5. So if you move it up, then your G becomes 4, pattern 4, your C becomes pattern 2, and your D becomes pattern 1. Get it? So then you go G, and then your C, and your D is pattern 1 now. So that's a kind of a strange one, because it's that C pattern, but you have to bar those first two chords there, and your fourth finger is actually the D. Yeah, so that's your G, C, D if you moved it up the pattern. So if you kept moving up, then your G becomes pattern 5, so you had G, then G, and then your G becomes the D pattern. Cables held down, it is a G major chord. Your C becomes pattern 3, which your finger's already there. Bar those. You got 3 and 4 on the 7th and 8th fret. That's C. And then your D becomes pattern 2, which also, you started with your D on pattern 5, and you went to D, pattern 1. Now you got D, pattern 2, which is basically that power chord barring the third finger. Pretty neat, huh? Closest moves. As you moved up, your G was 3, 4, 5. Now you're at 1. There's a G in pattern 1. C is pattern 4 now. And D is pattern 3, which you bar. Once again, that hard one. last one is the 5th, so G was there. Number 2, or pattern 4. 3 was pattern 5. 4 was pattern 1. And now the 5th version is pattern 2 for G. Pattern 5 for D. Sorry, C. And pattern 4 for D. It's kind of crazy, hard to understand with me being retarded, but it's pretty cool to learn to go all the way down the board with your chords there. C, C. And as you get faster and realize where you are on the board, then it's definitely going to be way easier to find a chord when you're playing along with somebody. So, cool lesson. Thanks, Mike.